Lawman Bass Reeves, episode 3, David Oyelowo is still really good. I'm going to talk about the episode a little bit, but it's going to be pretty short. I don't want to really get too much into this because I would actually highly recommend the show, especially if you enjoy historical pieces, bios, westerns, those kinds of things. This is based on the first Black U.S. Marshal. It is exceedingly well done as far as craft goes. I think they just did a really good job of this. This is just a general TV line article that talks about it. So basically, the story at this point picks up where we left off, where he has been hand selected by the local judge. Feels like he's, yeah, sure. It's a great scene with Donald Sutherland plays this Judge Parker, because he says something along the lines of, sure, I could pick you for political reasons. I could try to pick you because you're black, whatever. But I picked you because, from what I understand, you're pretty good with a gun and kind of a good person of character. Like he basically, it's his reputation. And he has this line about, like, be careful what you ask for taking this job. Most people don't survive. Most people have all these negative consequences and that kind of thing. So it's pretty good. I think that the show works very well, because I think that it just sort of has a general natural flow of following the character, who is a very good heroic archetype for us all to like and enjoy. It has sort of like a very short backstory with the family elements, which I think is the weaker part of the show to this point, but I think it's a constant reminder of who he is and kind of what's driving him and keeping him grounded. He has a wife. They're now expecting their 5th child in this episode. You have a couple of cutaway scenes where you see his wife working with the oldest daughter, saying, yeah, you got to step up your game. I'm going to have another little one. You're going to have to learn to do more in the kitchen. You're going to have to learn to do more of this. And really, she's mentoring her, raising her up to be her own matriarch at some point. And she already has a little suitor. He leaves a flower for her on a clothesline, or kind of thing. So they're kind of planting the seed. What I will say about all that, I didn't even bother trying to research if any of that is true at all. But what I would say is it feels very genuine in the grand scheme of other things that have been set in and around this time, right? It's done in a very sort of reserved, respectful manner. So it feels very believable, all that does. But basically, let's face it, this episode is more about him in action. We now see him. He gets sworn in by Judge Parker. He's given his first assignment, which is Billy Crow. Billy Crow, there's a cutaway scene to them robbing the stagecoach. That's why there's a warrant for their arrest. And then he ends up hiring sort of a lawman / guide, right? Garrett Montgomery. And it's played by Garrett Hedlund, who I actually really liked in Tulsa King. He played the barkeep. I think his name was Mitch. He's obviously the lead actor that was in Tron Legacy. He's been in several other things. And again, he's sort of another one of these great actors that is there to support Bass Reeves. Last episode, we had Dennis Quaid. We have Barry Pepper is out there as well in the show. So he had sort of like this very impactful presence, even though he really wasn't in the show very much. Shea Wiggum was great in episode 1, even though it's a deplorable and awful character. You are supposed to hate him, so it makes sense, right? I think everything has been great, but let's just be honest, right? This is David O's show. This is all about Bass Reeves. It stays very condensed and dense around him and how he kind of navigates through this process of tracking down Billy Crow, getting information out of the other gang members who've been identified, manipulating the situation. And then, of course, there's ambush and a shootout. Of course, he's deadly with a pistol. He's dead-eye with his gun. And it becomes almost unbelievable. But then when you actually do sort of fact-check Bass Reeves' legacy, there are things that have been verified. Like, he really was never injured. He really was never, this is not a person who took a lot of bullets and survived. This is a guy that just somehow made it through, and his hat was shot off and some things like that, or in sort of like. So I mean, all I can do is take it as face value. I don't know what's folklore, what's actual fact. I didn't read the books that this is based on. I've kind of like had a cursory catch up on some of these kinds of things. So that's a general overview. I would say this is still extremely strong, But again, it's a drama. This is not an action-packed thing. They have a nice shootout. It was shot well. It was done okay. I think that there's no real major issues that I have with the show at this point. It's something that I can definitely recommend, and that's actually kind of an oddity these days, isn't it? But yeah, Taylor Sheridan's name is the producers on it, but I think the creative team around it has done a really good job so far, and I'm looking forward to see where it goes. So, thanks for watching, everybody. Tell me what you guys think. If you guys are watching this show, taking it in, I love those comments. There's been a few of you that have already been commenting on the previous videos. Let me see if you've been keeping up with it. Here's a shot of Donald Sutherland, which is great. It still has the same kind of gravitas as he always has. It's just good. There's the Garrett Montgomery, Garrett Hedlund. So that's that. And then this is the shot of the daughter with the suitor with that flower on the clothesline. And that's it on this. So that's all that article had. So that is it for me. I am Pops. Take care, everybody.